Hi, 100% LCFC TV here today with City legend Steve Walsh. Now the words legend is often used a bit too easy, I think, for some City players, but Steve Walsh, there is no better City legend probably than Steve Walsh.
Is that right?
Now,
yeah.
definitely. Now, yesterday on Facebook we asked you Leicester City fans, what questions would you like to pose to Steve? So if it's all right with you, Steve, I'm just going to ask away.
Yeah, anything you like.
Okay.
Guys. Yeah.
First question is from Paul Hill and Neil Marden. They both asked very similar questions. Who was the best ever player you played with while at Leicester City?
Yeah, it's a good question. I get asked this quite a lot, and you know, in the early days when I first arrived, you know, there was Gary McAllister was a very classic player, Alan Smith, Russell Osman as a centre half, I'd say. But you know that when you really ask me who was the best player, then you know I can't go too much further than the Martin O'Neill era with Muzzy, Lennon, you know, Matt Elliott alongside me, and Heskey. That you've got to look at them four in the top bracket for me. If I was to pick one person, I think it'd probably be my partner Muzzy. You know, but I still think that it's a close thing with Lennon and them other lads, because the effort that they put in front of me, you know, they kept me going for another 5 years with their energy and the box to box running and tackling, and it was a fantastic era for me with O'Neill.
It was a real team effort at that time, wasn't it? There was
a team spirit that I think the first team have got now. You know, I think they've got a tremendous spirit, and that's what did it for them last year. But we had that spirit, and I know how much you need to have, you know, a good understanding and team spirit. It does help you win games when you've not got that ability against other teams that have more class. We
were chatting with some fans the other night, and everybody was saying it feels like the team now is like it was back in your day, and it's not really felt like that for a while.
Yeah, it's a different style of football, totally different, you know. But yeah, it's got to be ranked up with the best. That year, last year, was phenomenal from Nigel Pearson and his players. I've got to admit that you've got to hold your hand up and say that was a good season. That was fantastic. Yeah.
Excellent. Next question is from Darren Perrins. He asks, who was the biggest influence on your career as a footballer, and who's now your biggest sort of influence in your life?
Right. Yeah. I think my dad, first of all, for taking me everywhere. He took me in Blackpool and Preston just to train and play games. Moving on from there, I'd say, was Wigan Athletic, where Harry McNally and Larry Lloyd became the manager and signed me professional. I've got to say that Larry Lloyd was the stepping stone for me into football, so I've got to thank him a lot for making me a professional footballer.
Excellent. Ali Hilliard asks, how did you feel when you scored the header against Arsenal?
Against Arsenal
to make it 3-3.
To make it 3-3.
I was stood in the Kop that day, and it was a glorious moment to see you turn and shout at us.
I think there's so many incidents in that game, and you know, I remember Dennis Bergkamp starting on my side up front after the first minute, and thought, he's looking sharp. So
not a bad hat trick.
I had to slow him down a little bit, and he went over to Matt Elliott's side when I did that.
Yeah.
So it was the best thing I've ever done in a match, because he tore Elliott apart.
Yeah,
and but for me, scoring that goal was a special day, another special moment in my career, where I scored quite a lot of last-minute goals, as you know.
Yeah.
And it was great to have a little go at Righty after as well.
Yeah,
just to tell him
I remember that.
Yeah.
In Costa, Georgia, and Darren Bradbury both asked the same sort of question again about goals. I mean, the Derby playoff final. Yeah, what was it like to poke that goal in?
I look at a lot of goals, and that, for me, I went through so much that season against Derby. You know, I
shouldn't really have played,
career-threatening injury. You know, I came back from an ACL cruciate ligament. I shouldn't have played.
Should you have played that day?
No, I shouldn't have played.
I remember we went to watch a game,
ready to play,
and we were not expecting to see you on the team sheet, and then it was like a great lift that you were there.
I had to play, but it was touch and go.
It looked like you shouldn't have.
I shouldn't have really. Yeah, I shouldn't have. But I was kind of drugged up on tablets, you know.
We were glad you did.
Yeah, I was as well. But to finally get that lucky break, you know, and squeeze that ball in was a fantastic feeling. You know, you never get better than that in football. But I've scored some special goals, and for me, even though that was more important of a goal, it wasn't my best goal, if you will, because Fulham. I think Fulham was probably one of the best goals I'd scored was against Fulham. when I made a mistake, an error, and I thought it was all over, to be honest, and we actually came back to 2 apiece, and I scored that second one, I think it was, late on, and got us back in the game, and it was one of my latest goals that I scored in my career, but it was one for me that I couldn't have lived with if I hadn't have got it, you know, if you will. Yeah, but it was
do you see yourself, do you think back of yourself as a centre forward or a centre half, or both?
So centre half.
Centre half?
Yeah, definitely.
Who could go up front and pop a few in?
Yeah, but I was a centre half by trade. Yeah.
When did that happen?
Yeah.
Why did you get pushed up front?
I think it was mainly Brian Little days. He started it all, and I think it was to get me out of the way of getting sent off. I got sent off twice, I think, if I recall, and he stripped me of the captaincy, and then threw me up front when I came back, and I scored about 8 in 9. So it worked really well, and O'Neill used the same threat with Elliott as well.
And very effective.
Yeah, it worked very well. Yeah.
Jamie Blythe asks, what was your most embarrassing experience in your football career, on or off the pitch?
Oh, right.
Any you can tell us about?
Well, I'd say the most embarrassing was on the pitch was Arsenal away, an own goal that I scored. So there's a.
At Highbury?
At Highbury, yeah. I scored about 2 or 3 own goals in my career, I think, at least.
Did you get much stick at Highbury?
Of course I did, yeah. So I'd say that was the most embarrassing moment.
I would guess.
Apart from probably Gary Parker playing some tricks at the training ground, and that would be it. So yeah.
Libby Goddard asks you, what has been the best part about being with Leicester City, and what's made you stay around Leicester and Leicestershire? Because you're not from around here, obviously.
I'm not. I'm from Preston. I think
yeah.
When I first came down in 1986, it was to be in the First Division, as there's the Premier League now. So that was my aim and goal. I'm a loyal person, so. I think that comes from a father who worked at British Aerospace for about 50 years and stayed there, and I think that was, inducted into me. I was very loyal, and I stayed around, albeit, I've had a few problems up and down the road after I finished football, but my children were born here as well, so I decided it was a place where work would be as well.
Yes. So very settled
I've
now.
Set up academies and things like that, so I'm settled down.
We're here down at the academy with some of the next breed of Leicester players, hopefully.
That's right, this is one of our holiday camps. So yeah, it is great, and I've teamed up with my ex-colleague Muzzy, Izzet, so things are great.
Excellent. Final question from Adam Foz. He says, what did you really think of Steve Bull?
Bully. Well, I think he's a great bloke now, but I didn't in them days. No,
some tussles there.
Yeah, obviously it was hard to deal with, and we had some big battles, and I tried to kick him off the park. To be fair,
they always looked entertaining though. You actually were both up for it and both enjoying it.
He had to be, and and he stood the test, to be fair. Both of us got sent off. Should have been. It felt like we didn't get sent off once each, I think, but it felt like it was about 10 times each the way it was with the battles we had, and the fans loved it. There were tremendous times, tremendous days, but when I look back, I still cringe about it now.
Do you still see Steve now occasionally?
He's good. He's writing. He's put a little piece in my book, which is nice. Yeah,
that's good.
So I have done a Q&A with him a couple of times. So yeah, the boxing gloves are off now.
Turning 50 this year?
50, yeah.
You make us all feel old now.
Yeah, that's right.
We still think of you playing.
It's unbelievable, yeah.
You've got a big event coming up in November.
I have,
which we can see on here.
I'm just finishing off writing a book which is ready in a couple of weeks. It'll be out on November the 8th, which I'm having a big lunch night coincided with a big party bash for the fans as well as family and celebrities. So I've got some ex players coming down already committed, which is Neil Lennon, which has kindly come down. Heskey, if he's around, he said he will come. So it's going to be a great night. Yeah. So I'm launching the book then. That's when it's coming out. Pre-orders now. People can order the book through Ticket Bomb. And obviously to book any spaces at the event, they'd need to go on www.kongevents.co.uk.
We'll put that web address up on the end of this video.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to, not looking forward to reaching 50, but it's been the book especially is an autobiography of my life. It's
warts and all, ups and downs,
there's a lot
highs and lows.
I think it's going to be an interesting read for a Leicester fan anyway.
Excellent.
The truth is going to come out.
And I guess if people come on the night, they could get you to autograph it.
Yeah, of course they can. Yeah. Well, they get a free copy anyway on the night, so and it's autographed. So. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm sure 100% LCFC will be going to that event. We'll promote about it and may even get a few free seats for some of you fans up there if we run a competition from ourselves. So, Steve, it's been an honour for me to meet a legend. Really not worthy. So, thank you very much for coming on 100% LCFC TV.
Thank you. Yeah.